Alright, welcome back. Hope everyone's having a lovely day, a lovely night wherever you're from, and real quick before we get started, as always, I want to give a lovely shout out to the channel members on this channel. So thank you so much to these lovely commanders here that you see on screen. Thank you guys so much for your guys' constant generosity and support to me as always. It really means a lot to me, so thank you guys so much. And if you guys are actually interested in becoming a lovely commander yourself, if you are interested in any of these cute and lovely emotes, the loyalty crown badges, if you want a special role in the Discord, make sure to join the Discord. But as always, if you choose to do so, thank you so much. Just remember, that's not the only way that you can support me. Just watching the content like you are right now is truly the best way. Liking, subscribing, and commenting, everything really does help, so thank you guys so much. And for today's video, last night we ended up having the live stream for the new Season 2 upcoming patch for Tiphera and everything. This is a big patch, but we also got the patch notes. So this is going to be a bit of a long one like always, so there's going to be timestamps for wherever you want to go down below. But as always, let's get started, so let me scoot on over. And let's put it on screen right here. And as always, we are at Stovepost for the upcoming Season 2 update for Chapter 2 of Seed of Karmic Fire. Honestly, been really liking the story too, personally, so really excited for Chapter 2. So with this release, we are also getting Chapter 2, so make sure you finish Chapter 1, Episode 10. With this upcoming patch, we are also getting the Great Rift against Colossus, it looks like. So be ready for that. We'll see if there's going to be any problems. I really have no idea how it's going to go. I'm going to wait a little bit because I do want to test the new upcoming character as well. There's going to be ranking improvements as well if that's what you're interested in. Honestly, for me, I just get what I can get done in terms of getting like the 500,000 or the 600,000 damage, getting the little sticker and just moving on. I'm happy with that personally. And we are also getting the environment variable update. The environment variable system will be introduced to establish a meta optimized for the Galactic Disaster season and will support strategic exploration. Experience deeper deck building and agent growth through season-exclusive enhancement elements. It looks like with this as well, we seem to get a new currency here next to the Chaos Orbs. It's like this cute little turquoise orb thing, so we'll have to definitely see what that's about. The open schedule is going to be right after this maintenance that's coming up on 2/25. This is going to go on until April 8th, and then we are getting a feature expansion on March 18th after the maintenance. So this is going to be ongoing for the rest of the season. You can access it through the Zero System Codex. Environment Variables Overview. Season Meta Upgrade. A season-exclusive skill tree that strengthens the core mechanics of the season or improves exploration convenience. The scope of the application. Activated effects apply to the Codex and Galactic Disaster Chaos. During the season period, progression method. Starts from the interior node and activates connected nodes sequentially. Seasonal environment variable data will be reset at the end of the season because this is only going to be for each season, so that's pretty cool to see. And you can see like the little nodes and stuff that's going to be slowly expanded upon in the future to like fill out a whole circle, so that's pretty cool. And we get a good look at the little nodes here. So environment variables, core entity access. So what this does is if you have obtained challengers qualifications from the gatekeeper's trial, choices at the arena entrance will unlock. Calculation result adjustments. You gain additional dice roll adjustment values in the Galactic Disaster Chaos. Security release. Unlock the new season fate in Galactic Disaster Chaos. And then variable importance. Increase the appearance rate of season fate in Galactic Disaster Chaos. Environment setting. Gain upgrade effects that assist in battle. Result value recalculation. Unlock the ability to refresh the effects presented during equipment reforging. So you can actually reset the list and actually get a new set of equipment abilities for whatever you have. So rather than like dealing with the RNG of like the 20 plus effects, this gives you a chance to refresh. That's actually pretty nice. Information gathering amp. Increase the acquisition amount of Radiant Life and Galactic Disaster Season 2 event currency. Pretty interesting to see. One thing I'm really excited about is that refresh and also the core entity, because that means we're going to be able to do more and get more rewards for that. New exclusive currency, Memory of Light. A new currency, Memory of Light, used to activate the environment variable. Oh, okay, so those are the little turquoise nodes. That's going to be added. This can be obtained as reward for completing Codex and Galactic Disaster Chaos. Used to unlock and upgrade each node within environment variables. Galactic Disaster content improvements. You gain additional gameplay experiences through the Gatekeeper trial, which appears in the Galactic Disaster Chaos Burning Life and Codex. So, you can prove Challengers qualifications by achieving victory in the Chaos Outskirts Arena. If you meet the Challengers qualifications, you will be tested by the Gatekeeper at the entrance to the Chaos Interior Arena to determine whether you are worthy of an audience with the King. If you pass the Gatekeeper's trial, you will face the King of Sand Tombs, Colossus, directly Upon victory, you will be able to obtain powerful rewards. So similar to how mid-season they added new bosses to Season 1, that's similar to this. So you're going to want to do this, especially if you want to try to maximize the amount of rewards you get. And if you're already completing the trials, I don't see why not. I feel like this is great. So I'm pretty sure that's in correlation to this core entity access. So that's pretty nice to see. So awesome stuff right there. And then from there, we do have the new second supply store opening, and we are getting the Omega code in here. So make sure this is a priority. You pick this up. This is a free dupe for anyone you want. Remember, if you want to maximize this, use this on the limiteds. This helped me get to Serenio E4. I was really happy with that. And honestly, the fact that we might have to go until mid next season before we get a limited for the summer, you'll be able to have another 2. The reason why I think we're at least going to have 2 is because I don't think they're going to start Season 3 with a limited. And if we at least get to number 2 or 3 of Season 3, that'll be perfect to get the other Omega code for that batch as well. So it's perfect all around. Some other improvements. In the Great Rift, auto battle will be changed to always start in the off state. And then we get to our lovely girl Tiphera. He's going to be the new combatant. I'll show you what a reliable subordinate is capable of. She's really cute. Love her hair. Like, she looks like one of the Mikus, like the blonde one. It looks really cute. She's an order controller. A lot of stuff here we are going to go over, but some things that I do want to note before we get started. First things first, she can generate these cards. These cards are archetype cards. There is circle, triangle, and square. We talked about this before in her preview. So to get started, these are all 0 cost cards. And what the circle archetype does is that it's an exhaust, heal 50% and gain 1 AP. Triangle is another exhaust that gives you 50% shield, increase the damage amount of the first hit of the next attack card by 30%, max 300, and then archetype square. You get heal 50% and you draw 1 archetype card. So you draw another one of these, circle, triangle, or square, looks random, and then she gets the exclusive effect, form upgrade 0 out of N. For as long as this card is in hand, when an archetype card is activated, increase by 100% until a random effect is used, max and stacks current 0 stacks. So with all this in mind, let's get started and go back to actually talking about the live stream a little bit, because thankfully they covered it. So we're seeing more and more like full kits and stuff, and I think this is much appreciated. So with her starting cards, she has Matter Disintegration, which is 120% defense-based damage, and then she has 2 barrier deployment skill cards that heal 120%. I believe, if I recall, that the potential for the barrier deployment will change, so I think it's like 80% shield, 80% heal. But still, either way, these are the basic cards. So, you know, your basic removal. Then we move on to Quantum Seed, which is a skill card. You heal 120% and create 2 archetype cards in the draw pile, and you draw 1 of them. This looks to be random, so a little bit of gambling with this, especially if you are trying to go for like the AP one, but I don't mind a little bit of gambling. What can I say? Vegas born, baby. And then more Epiphany cards. We have Form Convergence. Form Convergence is a retained card that's also a skill card. You draw 2 archetype cards, and then you double a random effect of those cards for 1 turn. So because they have multiple effects on each archetype card, it's going to randomly double one of those effects. So even more RNG on top of that. And then we have Creation and Destruction, which is an attack card. This is 144% defense-based damage, 95% shield, and you heal 96%, and it comes with this harmonization effect. And what harmonization is that let's say you have 1 AP left. This card costs 1 AP. So the fact that you have 1 AP left, and it's perfect, you use the AP on this card, you activate harmonization. So remember, let's say you have 1 AP left, use it on this card to trigger that harmonization, which will double all the effects on this card. So that's pretty nice. And then we have Dual Creation, which is an upgrade card and a unique. When 2 archetype cards are created, you create 1 identical card in the discard pile. So you contribute to that by making 2 random cards, and then another one that's identical to those gets added to the discard pile. Gives you the ability to get this more into your deck, but at the same time, it is all random. And then we have a 2 cost card, Event Horizon. It's a skill card, unique form upgrade with 0 out of 3, gives you 1 AP, you draw 1, increase the damage amount of the first hit of the next attack card by 40%. So remember back in the patch notes right here, Event Horizon here. So what form upgrade does is that when we go back and look, it says right here, for as long as this card is in your hand, when an archetype card is activated, increase by 100% until a random effect is used, max and stacks. So the more archetype cards you use, the more you upgrade this. So since this can actually go up to 3, this can be very random, it looks like. So this could go for like 1 AP to like 4 AP, draw 460% like of the next attack card, or it could just be kind of all over the place. That's what it's starting to look like here. So with her cards, it very much does look like it's just pure gambling. We'll definitely have to see right now with the Epiphanies because we are going to break them down. So with the Epiphanies that we have in hand, Quantum Seed is the first one to come up, left to right. So we have 180% healing. You create 3 archetype cards in the draw pile and you draw 1 of them. That's a nice basic increase to everything. But then the second one, you heal 120%, you select 1 archetype card that you want, and you create 1 in hand and draw pile each. That's also a nice one just because you're able to select this and it creates 1 in hand and in the draw pile. So not bad overall. But the third one is very enticing because this is a 0 cost with a draw 1. But what makes this interesting is that it adds more gambling to this. Predict which archetype card will be created and you create 1 archetype card. If the archetype card you picked is predicted correctly, create the rest in the draw pile. So this can have some peak potential with some gambling and get this right, and this will benefit you a lot. But also the fact that it's a 0 cost draw 1, that's also really interesting. I think that's really cool. And then we have Quantum Seed, which is a cost of 1. You create 3 archetype cards in the draw pile. You draw 1 of them, and you activate the retain effect 2 times on 1 random cards of this unit in hand. And I believe some other ones also have the retain effect. So this could kind of go in hand with some of the other Epiphanies that we are going to be seeing for the other cards. And then this last one as well, which is also interesting, is a 1 cost Quantum Seed upgrade. Create 1 archetype cards, and then when AP is 0, you create each archetype card in hand and draw pile 1 time per turn. That's awesome, actually. That's like a lot of drawing power. That's like 6 cards right there when AP is 0. So for me personally, I definitely think 3 and 5 are what I'm interested in the most. But we'll definitely have to see when it gets to the gameplay. Right now, this is just all pure analysis and what we're looking at. Then we have Form Convergence. Retain, draw 3 archetype cards, and you double a random effect of those cards for 1 turn. So for this second Form Convergence here, this is a draw 4 archetype cards, but rather than having that double effect, it's select and exhaust 1 exhaust card in hand. Now, if you have a really good heavy hitter exhaust card, like Nine's Hue, this can be really benefiting for her. So I see some synergy right there, and obviously complementing order, so it makes sense to see that here. Her third Form Convergence with a 0 cost, Retain. Change all archetype cards in hand into a different archetype card. Retain, you draw 1 archetype card. So that's where this kind of like almost synergy comes with the retain aspect. And then we have for the fourth one, Form Convergence with a cost of 1, Retain. Select and exhaust 3 exhaust cards from all cards. So this can be from the graveyard, draw pile, etc. And then you draw 1 exhaust card for each exhausted. That's a lot of power that you get for the cost of 1. So in my opinion, I definitely like 2 and 4 so far. And then the last one, draw 1 archetype card, repeat it until the same card is drawn consecutively. So more and more gambling here. You're going to be able to draw 6 cards until you get the same archetype card. So you draw 1 archetype card and then you keep pulling out cards until it's the same archetype. So let's say you have triangle and you keep drawing up to 6 times. If you don't even get another triangle, you're good to go. I like all the gambling with this. This is kind of fun, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how it's gonna be in practice, but it sounds fun. It's silly. Then for the other Epiphany card for Creation and Destruction, we have another basic increase here. 260% defense-based damage, more shield, more health. And then the second one, it's a 5 cost Creation and Destruction. 660% defense-based damage. Then when a card is exhausted, decrease the cost of this card by 1 for 1 turn. So if you are doing an exhaust team, you can make her a sub DPS by making this cost card of 5 go lower even more with the more exhaust cards that you exhaust. So not bad overall if you want to turn into a sub DPS if that's your goal. The third one is a 2 cost Creation and Destruction. It's a Retain, 192% defense based damage, 48% shield, heal 48%, and then Retain, increase all the effects by 100% until activated max 4 times. So if you hold this for 4 turns, you can maximize this. In my opinion, I feel like this one might have some couple of use cases, but I feel like most of the time I'm involved in short battles. So I don't know if I would be able to maximize this card all the way. And then for this fourth one, Creation and Destruction, another unique. When AP is 0, you create 1 Creation and Destruction card and you decrease the cost of those cards by 1 and apply Exhaust 1 time per turn. So what this does is that when your AP is at 0, you're going to just create a basic Creation and Destruction card, which is going to be the 144% defense-based damage, the 96% shield, and the heal 96. But this last one is very interesting because it's another 5 cost. It's 180% defense-based damage for each cost of the card, and then when a card is exhausted, you randomly change the cost of this card from 1 to 9. So more heavy gambling with this one. I don't know what's going on, if we're going to learn some more lore about Tiphera, that she's a huge gambler, but like, that's kind of funny to me that there's a lot of this involved with her kit. Definitely going to have to see how it is in practice. And then we move on to the last Epiphany set, which is going to be for dual creation with unique initiation. So the only difference here is that it adds initiation, so you use this at the start, or it's always going to be at the start. And then for the second one, it does have initiation again, but then it's changed to when 3 archetype cards are created, create 1 identical card in the hand, and then you apply retain to that card. So far, a little bit basic, but still nice. The fact that initiation is there is always good to have. And this one also makes it initiation, but when archetype square is activated, you create 1 different archetype card in discard pile. So when you use specifically the square archetype card, it's going to create a different one, so the circle or triangle, in the discard pile. And then dual creation, which is a skill card that's also a unique. You create 1 of each archetype card and then create 1 of the next archetype card exhausted. Interesting. And then lastly, we have dual creation, which is an upgrade unique initiation card. When an archetype card is moved to your hand, you duplicate that card and remove a random effect 5 times per turn. So you can get another one of those cards, but it also is RNG with removing a random effect. So you kind of like, you know, take your battles with that one. You get another card, but you lose the effect. Interesting overall. And then, just for anybody who's interested, you know, you never know, the wallpaper is here. It's cute, kind of basic, but hey, we get feet, we get some good thighs, some good little squish there. It's pretty nice, pretty nice. A little more tame than the other ones. Obviously, I'm more of a fan of 9 and Serennial, but what can I say? I got taste. But with all that yapping out the way, let's move back to actually going back to the patch notes, and let's start talking about her ego skill. So her ego skill, Archetype Resonance, select and create 1 archetype card, create an additional card the next 2 times the ego skill is used, and then you decrease the cost of the next ego skill used by 2 with a cost of 5. Now we move on to her ego manifestations. The first one sounds really nice because it changes her max form upgrade stat count event horizon card from 3 to 4, so you get way more power out of it. That one sounds really nice, so I might go for it, to be honest. And then we have Awakening Memory, which is her ego 2. When an archetype card is activated, you gain each shape effect, and then when a shape effect reaches 3 stacks, you create 1 card combining each shape. You get Circle with Heal 150%, Triangle increase the first hit damage amount of the next attack card by 30%, you draw 1 archetype card. This effect activates only 1 time per turn, and the shape effects are removed at the end of the turn. So what's a shame is that you can't really pick, it only specifically uses these ones, so you can't go for, like, let's say the AP or anything like that, and it could be random with how you set this up. The biggest problem with that is what I just mentioned, but also that this only happens 1 time per turn. So it sounds good, but it's not game changing by any means. I still like her E1, so I might be going for it. And then her E3, Vivid Memory, you increase the additional creation count of Archetype Resonance to 3 times, increase the cost decrease effect of the next ego skill used to 3, so this is just a good buff to her ego skill. And then we have E4, upon use of Tiphera's Archetype card, you gain the Power of Archetype effect. Power of Archetype, you increase the damage amount of attack cards of allies by 5%, increase order attribute damage amount of allies by 5%, and then increase defense-based damage amount of allies by 5%. At the end of the turn, remove power of the archetype, max 2 stacks. So, to take advantage of this, I believe Tiphera, 9, and Amir would qualify under all 3. So, if you only have 1, you're only going to get like the 5% or the 10% if you do the max stacks. or the 20 or the 30. Best bet you can use this with is Tiphera N9. So not bad, but definitely limiting. But also E4 is very expensive considering it's a standard. Then complete memory, you know, the basic potentials upgrade. And then with E6, liberated memory. This one's interesting, and I'm a little confused by it. Tiphera's unique cards receive damage amount increase effects gained from the archetype triangle cards, but are changed to not consume them. At the start of the battle, you change the damage amount effect gained from archetype triangle cards to increase from 30% to 35%, and the max stacks from 300% to 350%. So the way that I'm reading this is that her unique cards get the damage increase from the triangle, but it doesn't go away. If that's how I'm reading it correctly, we'll have to see in game. That one's a little confusing, but also I doubt many people are going to go for E6, so you might not need to worry about that either way. And then we have her partner, Rescue Rate Up, Tiana. And she is very cute, not going to lie. I do love her little hairstyle. She is stacked. Kind of a shame, once again, that we can't see the partners in game. I just want to do more. I just want to do more affection stuff. That would be nice. I'm Tiana. Nice to meet you. She's a controller partner, passive, Star in the Darkness. So I'm just going to talk about just base. So I'm only going to talk about the first number, since most people just go for one copy. The assigned command's defense is increased by 8% when the assigned command creates 3 exhaust cards, which is easy because of her archetype cards. Increase allies' next attack card damage amount by 15 to 30%, max 2 stacks. So it's not her damage, but the allies' damage, which is really helpful. So great synergy right there. And then this last one, which is kind of insane. When the assigned command has activated shield gain and heal through order cards, which obviously, once again, from our archetype cards, you get plus 6% critical chance of allies for 1 turn. Critical chance no matter what is always good. And the fact that you're always going to be able to do this due to the nature of our archetype cards, that's really, really handy. And her ego skill phase alignment. You draw 1 exhaust card, and then you draw 1 exhaust card the next 2 times the ego skill is used. You decrease the cost of the next ego skill used by 1. So a little bit of drawing power there as well, and it's really nice. But definitely that critical chance is actually pretty huge. So I'm definitely going for her. As always, I always tend to pick them up. And then we finally move on to the events, and the first one we have is Spade's Shadow Underway. Now this one's going to be Tiphera, similar to the one that we just had for 9 with the little assignments. That's going to be the same thing here, so make sure you grind that out. Similar things here, clear the prologue, the first assignment, the second assignment, etc. Then we have the virtual tactical simulation that everybody has. Make sure you do it. This one's going to be with Cassius and Maribel as well. And then a regular survey underway. New event, Chaos Regular Survey, will be held where you can explore Chaos and Codex to obtain rewards. So just by doing it, you get some little rewards here. By clearing the Chaos or Codex twice each week, and you get some pulls. Not bad, especially if you're already actively playing. It's kind of a no-brainer. This is going to go on for 4 weeks. Then we're getting more Prism modules from Ray's Gift. I'm still saving those for whatever comes next, especially if we get that Cat Girl. Really excited for that. Then we got another Overdrive, but this time, Memory Fragments is going to be available. So you can get double the equipment. Not bad. And then into the depths of Discord during the event, you can obtain a Chaos Selection chest, and then you can choose what you want to get from it from getting all those little chests. So pretty nice to see that we are going to be getting a lot of stuff from clearing missions. Make sure you're doing everything to get all of this. And then following this up, we are getting a daily 2 free Codex merging event. So for each day, you're going to be able to merge 2 times for free. And then any unused free attempts from the 10 free Codex merge event held after will be consumed first. The 2 daily free merges apply only after the remaining attempts have been used, so make sure you're using all of those up. And then we have a new season of Basin of Hyperspace, obviously to take advantage of the new combatant. So make sure you get that. That's 1,000 crystals right there, so make sure you clear it. And then this one I'm really excited for. Protos Synchronization. This one's really cool because just like how we recently got introduced to the one where if you're in a chaos you can sync up, this one's sort of similar. So what this does is that this is going to adjust the command's level and potential based on the captain's level. Each synchronization stage will be unlocked according to the captain level with a total of 4 stages. The higher the synchronization stage, the higher the level and potential adjustment the command will receive. Even if a command is under synchronization, if their previously upgraded level or individual potential node level is higher, that value will be applied. You can check the unlock conditions and effects for each synchronization stage in the synchronization stage pop-up. Combatants registered for synchronization will have their adjusted stats applied across all content. When removing a command from synchronization, a 72-hour re-registration waiting period will occur. So there is a little bit of a cooldown effect with that. And then the re-registration waiting period can be removed by using crystals. This is kind of like what the old school like synchro felt like when it came to Nikke. And then the synchronization adjustment range can be checked in the table below. So you can see that this is how it's going to look when you're seeing someone in the synchro, and then you can see that they get more based on the level, and this goes to maximum captain level 50, and then it adjusts the level to 55, and it gives them all these bonuses. So what a great, like, for especially casual players, like a great quality of life. So not everyone has to be maximizing every unit. That's just really, really nice. And they are adding a recharge feature to the Sands of Time. And it's funny that they're adding this because I feel like people might want to try to do this with dealing with all the RNG from Tiphera's cards. And I feel like they added this on purpose. I don't know. But just do note that this is not going to be available in the Great Rift, which I could see why, because that would start making it a bit more pay to win. So I'm glad that that detail was there as well. I'm probably never going to use it, honestly, so that's fine. They did some buffs here to some of the upgraded effects, going from 1 time per turn to 2 times when the turn starts or ends, and then more defense-based damage. New reforging effects like plus 30% damage amount of 1 cost or lower attack cards, which that's pretty huge right there for Serenial, if you can get that, because of the fact that she always has like 0 cost. Plus 25% extra attack damage amount, plus 30% defense-based damage. And drawing your own attack card by an ability, increase the damage amount of that card by 50% for 1 turn. So when you're always having that drawing by ability, that's actually really nice. I like the new reforging effects, but man, RNG on top of RNG to deal with that. We'll have to see. Some new improvements, profile improvements, and they are going to be upgrading the little battle pass as well. So you're going to be able to get 900 crystals as well. So they're just kind of boosting like the amount of rewards you get, which is always nice to see. And then new products as well, miscellaneous improvements in quality of life, bug fixes. But overall, with the meat of this, I'm really excited. We'll definitely have to see. Let me know what your thoughts are on Tiphera or her partner. Either way, I'm definitely pulling. I'm probably going to go for E1 though. I feel like that's probably going to be where I want to be. We'll have to see though. This is a standard after all. But that is going to be it for me. I hope you guys have a lovely day, a lovely night wherever you're from. And as always, thank you so much for the constant support. Take care and have a good one.